Greetings and salutations, nerds. This is Praying for Superpowers.
A podcast about the deeper meanings, messages, and intricacies hidden within nerd culture. I'm Peter.
This is Jason. And I'm Trevor. And today we are at Starfest in Denver, which is why things are so crazy for this episode. Now, Jason built this monstrosity behind us. Jason, would you tell us a little bit of the details that are in this costume and what it took to put it together?
Yeah, so his name is Akulva. It's 125 pounds. Took me over 700 hours to put together. It's built up into several pieces. Takes about 10 minutes to put it on. And spent about $2,500 in materials. Everything was scratch built on it. There's some Arduinos in it, is what's controlling the eyes right now. I've got a Pico Talk, and it actually does talk. The mouth does move, and I have a microphone inside that when I speak, its mouth will actually mimic what I'm saying in a lower voice.
That's wild. That's so intricate.
Yes. I love it. It's great.
So I had it in the Denver Comic-Con 2 years ago, I guess 2017. I actually won Best of Show then.
You deserved it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Definitely.
They were gracious enough to ask me to come back the next year to judge that Comic-Con. That was so much fun. And so down in Colorado Springs, where I live, I've actually won first place in Colorado Springs Comic-Con also. So he's 2 for 2 right now.
And how long does it take for you to put on this suit?
He said 10 minutes.
Yeah, about 10 minutes. And then
Yeah, but he didn't say that on the camera.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. Did
it's
you?
still 10 minutes.
It's still 10 minutes.
It's still 10 minutes. So,
It's a really long day. We're right underneath sunlight. It's hot in here.
and so this is actually the third Minotaur costume I've built. I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The first one was kind of janky, didn't really work that well, so I wanted to amp it up a little bit. I built a second one, and then wanted to do some things like make the hands move, put some lights in it, some controls, and so I made this guy. And this guy, I'm done with costumes. It is everything I wanted it to be.
And so I heard rumor that you can actually hold weapons.
I can. I didn't bring any today. I don't want them walking off, but his hands actually articulate. I can hold items.
Can I hold up one of the hands?
Yeah, let me scoot out of the way. So each hand, there's a control inside that I can move these fingers and hold things. Each hand, to give you a sense of scale, is 36 inches long, 3 feet long for one hand. Exactly.
It's head-crushing size.
Yeah. And so when I'm in there, I can actually hold things. And, my favorite game is to take people's hats. Because you remember, when I'm in this costume, their head is about here. And so I can reach down, I can actually take somebody's hat and hold it 8 feet in the air. Kids love it. They try and get the hat. Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
What does your family think of this fantastic hobby?
My entire family has gotten involved in this. My wife, Vicky, helps me get into it. She's not here today. But I've got a nephew, Jake, who will be here tomorrow. He helps me get into it. It's becoming a family event. We all go to the cons together. We do the costume together. It is so much fun. My daughter loves it, everything.
So some families have like family dinners and game nights.
Right.
You build massive minotaurs and bring them to conferences.
Right. And it really is, it's like a cooperation thing for the family because everybody's involved. It takes a lot of people just to move it. So that way everybody can feel like they're part of it.
Yeah.
So it's a great event to just get in it.
So for how many years have you been building costumes like this and involving your family?
The first costume I did, I actually volunteered at the Renaissance Festival in Larkspur for 3 years. That was, I want to say, 7 years ago. So I've been building these 3 Minotaur costumes for 7 years now.
Dang. And now you're done.
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I'm moving on to other things.
All right.
Yeah.
What are those other things? I mean, how do you go from this to anything else?
Okay, my latest thing is I built a concrete statue of a dragon as my mailbox at my house. So it's totally cool. So I'm going to be building those for a while, I think. So it's just my projects evolve. They
Are you
get
a sculptor
stranger.
by nature? Like,
Yeah,
it
I
sounds
guess.
like it.
I guess this is
fantastic.
This is like my textile sculpture. So I'm moving on to concrete and steel, so they last longer outdoors, and I'm going to be doing that a lot now.
You won't be able to bring those to cons.
I won't. No, at 300, 400, 500 pounds each, they're not movable.
Dang, that's crazy. Would you mind sending us a picture so we can post it on here?
Absolutely.
Do you have any way for people to like contact you or follow the Minotaur or anything like that?
You know, I'm not really into the social media aspect, but I do have. If you go online and you go to YouTube, look up Akulva, Akulva, I do have about 5 or 6 videos of this guy in action, how I built him. If you leave the comments, that's the best way to get a hold of me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. If you, I think we're gonna hashtag Akulva Cosplay,
Yeah.
and so you can find that online, and that'll be a good way to.
Right.
We'll post a bunch of pictures under that hashtag. So.
Right.
And you're putting this on what time today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So we'll get some footage of you in it tomorrow
Yes.
too.
There's a tiny dungeon event tomorrow. I can't remember the time frame, but I will be kind of like the liaison for that.
Very cool. In the costume.
In the costume. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow for as long as I can.
Awesome.
Yep.
Hey, thanks so much. We really appreciate this, and I just have like a couple more questions. Earlier we were talking, and you were talking about how your family gets together and plays D&D.
Right.
And on our show we often talk about how nerd culture is now the norm culture.
Yes.
And do you feel like it's a positive thing for your family to be able to get together and do things like D&D and these conventions and stuff like this?
I do. I think it's a great way for families to kind of come together. I think everybody has a little bit of nerd in them.
Yeah.
Just if you like that fan fiction, if you like that genre, like fantasy, you're kind of a nerd. It's just we all take it to different degrees. My family, we happen to take it to an extreme degree.
Yeah.
So, it's. I think everybody enjoys it. I think the term nerd has evolved over the years. I think it's got a bad rapport in the past because of the stereotype.
Yeah.
I think the stereotype is diminishing. I think it is becoming more acceptable. I think my daughter's 14. She's at school. She calls herself a nerd, and she owns it. She's proud of it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. We love hearing that.
Yeah, and she has the strange dad, and so everybody knows where we live because of our mailbox.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's she embraces it, and I think it's great.
That's
That's so
awesome.
cool.
That's so good to hear. Hey, thank you for coming
Absolutely.
on the show, and we
Yeah, well, thanks for
love
having
this.
me.
Yeah, of
I
course.
appreciate it.
This is super cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. You guys have a good one.
You too.